Hello, my name is Arman Ovla. I am a PhD scholar in Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur. Me and my professor Dr. Satike Roy, we have a presentation about the potters of Pahari in Rajasthan in today's conference. Pahari village in Rajasthan is a small village in the Bharatpur distance in western part of India. Rajasthan is one of the largest state in India that has a rich cultural background and history background close to the Harappan and Mohenjo-daro civilizations. And Rajasthan has a rich culture in the pottery as well. So we will discuss about the traditional pottery in this village. The village has 25 family engaging with the pottery, and they are Hindu. And in the Hindu religions, potters are the Prajapati family, and in the mythology, Prajapati is the first potters in Indian mythology. They call themselves as a Prajapati. So in this village, 25 family, they are working with the pottery. One of this family, they have a different method of the making a pottery and different from the other traditions potters. So in the first part of the presentation, we will talk about 24 of this family. They have a tradition way and techniques with the kilns, with the products, and the second part we will discuss about the separate family that have own method of the kiln and baking and making a pottery. So by traditions in the Pahari, because they are located in the Rajasthan, very hot and desert area, so water pot is one of the main and important products they have. So a part of that, potters are used to make a diyas, earthen lamp, flower pot, hookah, traditional earthen pipe for smoking, and cookwares. And especially in Prajapati family, man is a main potters and the female are assistant to the process of making and decorating a pottery. Making a pottery in the tradition way, first they will collect the soil from the distance from the outside of the village. They carry with the tractors and to the workshop. Women, they will start to beating the soil, and after that they will add the water. They have only one source of the soil, the brown soil they have, and they will add the water and they start to knit with the feet and hands. And when the clay is ready, men will start to make a pottery by help of the electrical wheel. But just 10 to 15 years ago, government by help of the NGO, they give some electrical wheel to each of these families. So today's they are mostly they use a electrical wheel, but they have also stone wheel, they call it chakra. So they have a multiple product. We will discuss only water pot here. They call it matka. For them making a matka, first stage is that making some cylinder shape on the wheel, and that circular shape they have a very large thickness in the bottom. So they cut the cylinder shape or very simple shape they made it. In the second part, they use a beating process by help of the terracotta tools. They call it pila. And wooden spoon shaped tools, they call it tapla. So they start from the inside and outside, they start to beating, and by the process of the beating, bottom side of the pot will be make a round shape. They used to be this shape by traditions for keeping and storing the water. So next stage is that when they made a matka, they keep it in the sunlight for some days, 2-3 days, and when complete is dry, women start to decorate the matka or water pot with a slip. Slip is a mixture of the water with the red clay. So they apply a slip by help of the clothes on the pot and become a red color. And then when they dry it after just 1 hour, they start to paint it. So painting, they call it chitrakari. They use two kind of colors. They came from the black stone and the white stone together. So they make a wavy line and some line on the top position of the pot to decorate the water pot. Only water pot they have a slip and the painting process they have. Other product as a cup or flower pot or diya or earthen lamps, they do not have this kind of decorations. So, after the painting is done, they will bake it. So, the baking in the traditional ways also is very primitive. You can see that shape of the kiln here is a cylindrical shape. By help of the bricks, they made some cylindrical shape, at least 2 meters dimension with 1 meters high, and in the bottom they have a small, each meters they have a small hole, so oxygen or air they can come inside the kiln. So, there is a open firing here. First they will cover the floor with the cow dung. After they putting a cow dung on that floor, they start to loading the pottery as a flower pot or matka water pot on top of each other. Between the pot they keep a cow dung and sawdust also, and when loading is finished they start to fire it, and after firing they will start to cover it with the shirt or the broken pot of the pottery, and later on when the fire is starting and little bit smoke is happen, they cover whole the structure with a mixture of the sawdust, wet soil and the ashes, and they cover it, and slowly heat will transfer from the one pot to another pot, and they will light up the cow dung or sawdust inside, and just by 4 to 5 hours firing process will be done, but they take a 1 to 3 days to cool down, and after 2 days they will take out the products. And because the insulation of the kiln is so less, so some of the pot, maybe 30% of the pot, they have a crack and wastage. Now we are shifting to describing the family that have own style of making a pot. Mr. Motilal, he is the owner of the company or this family workshop, and he used to be in the New Delhi when he was a teenager. He visited New Delhi and he learned a different method of the making a pottery during the 7 years. When he came back to the village, he introduced the new method of the making a pottery. He had a own formula of making a clay that is different from the rest of the potter's family. For example, for 100 kg of the clay, he mixed 4 different sorts of the soil. 10 kg red, 20 kg yellow, 30 kg brown and 40 kg black soil. And preparing the soil also is different. For example, he uses saving process 2 times. One, each soil separately they will save it. When they mix it again, they save it and they put in the water to soak with water, and when it become milky and with the water, they will filter it again. They become 3 times. The purifying of the soil become 3 time, and quality of the clay is much better of the traditions family they are making a clay. Maati Cookware traditional earthenware, there is a name of that workshop. This family they have 2 kind of the products. One, it is a utility product such as a cookware, tableware. Another is a decoration pot such as a Saggar ware and lamp. So, we will describe first the cookware product and utility product, and the next one we will discuss about decoration as a Saggar ware. First, the main part of the pot will made one day. In the next day they made it only handle, and by this time when he made a handle, yesterday product is become a leather time hard. So, they start to training them. So, they cut extra clay from the wall, and next stage is that they burnish the surface of the inside and outside of the product with a gemstone. They call it akik. So, if there is a handle to that, so they will stretch the wall outside of the wall, stretching, and they wet it with some water and add some small amount of the clay, and they add the handle on that. So, about firing, the firing also you can see their kiln is separate from the other kilns they can see in the village. So, this kind of kilns they can make a higher temperature because they have a separate fire place and the chamber for the loading the products. So the fireplace, there is a cube shape 3 meters by 3 meters and 1 meters high, and the chamber is 1.5 meters dimension and 120 centimeters high. This work, the whole family, they are engaged with the pottery. They help each other to decorate the pot, to load the pot, they take out the pot from the kilns. So first they will put all the products. When it's become complete dry, they put all the products in the chamber. Floor of the chamber, they have 12 holes. So fire, they will come to the chamber by help of these 12 holes. When they put the products, they will cover it as a traditions method they have. They will cover it with a broken part of the pottery pots, and they start to fire it. Firing is by sawdust. So one person, they has to be in front of the kilns in the fire gate, and they push the sawdust inside the kilns. They have to do it for the 4 to 5 hours. So each half hours, the person he used to push the sawdust inside, they has to replace it by next one. And the process is very, very difficult, because only 1.5 meter or 1 meter is distance between the heat and the person he put the fire the sawdust in the fire. So no measurement for measuring the heat, just by experience and watching the heat, smoke inside and special up side, the master knows that okay, we reach to the temperature. So they will stop the sending a sawdust inside the kiln, and they close the gate of the fireplace. Another 2 days they has to wait to hold the kiln, all the products be cool, and they will open or they take out the shred and broken part of the pots and take out the products. Wastage of this product is lesser than tradition way. Motilal sir, they have multiple products. As I mentioned, there is a 2 category, utility products and the decoration pot. So Saggar ware and lamp, it is under decoration part, and cookware is another ware. So there is a handy name for each of these products, and some of the pots they made it only for the order. For example, Uddu, there is a terracotta percussion instrument, they made it only 1 or 2. Another is other decoration pot as a anar, as a flower pot, water pot, lamp, and for making a pot they have free hands making a design and cutting a surface of the pot. So for decoration pot they use a Saggar techniques. We will discuss now about Motilal process, because mostly they use only wheel, and for some specific products they use it both technique, beating technique and wheel, as a traditions technique they have in the other family. For example, for this making this shape they call it anar. First they made the shape by wheel, but in the bottom side of the wall of the pot there is a thickness is so much, so they cut that. Here in the second slide you can see that it is a flat bottom, and they will start to beating with the same tools they have and exist in the village, and by beating process they will make a round shape of the bottom, and the next stage they will change the opening and the mouth of the pot, and because during this time they become little bit hard the surface, they put some sponge with water, they make it wet and they burnish it with a gemstone, and that they call it aqiq. And when all these processes happen and done, they start to cover it with a slip or trasiglata, because in their trasiglata or the slip they use a soda and little bit this diluted compared with the tradition potters in the village. So we can call it as a trasiglata, but in the Hindi language they call it kabis. So they once in the year they make a kabis or the slip, trasiglata slip, by adding a red clay with the soda and the water, and each time when they are taking out the slip from the container they will filter it again. They pour they sleep on the pot or they keep the pot inside of the container full of the slip or trasiglata. And the next stage that they have, but the other people, other potters they don't have, is that they will rub it with the wet clothes, cotton, and the surface will become completely shining. And in the next stage they will bake it. So they use indirect firing for that. So they have some containers and they put the product inside the containers using this technique of the container. Indirect firing, they call it Saggar. They put the product inside this kind of container, and they cover whole the container with the help of the lid, and they close it. But before closing, they put a sawdust and cow dung inside each of the container with the pot. The cow dung and sawdust, they make a smoke inside the container on Saggar pot and make a different effect on the surface. Each of these Saggar pot or each of these container, they have a 4 to 6 small holes. Dimension is only 1 centimeters in the different part of the container. So air they can pass from the holes. So during the firing, for making a different kind of style of smoke on the pot, they use for example, for big products, big pot, they add a 4 to 6 small bowl full of the sawdust and they keep it on the surface. So their place, when the sawdust in there with a bowl, they will remain as a black because they don't have any oxygen there. You can see how they are putting a sawdust and cow dung in each of the container, and they close it with the help of the clay again, and all the container where all the container is full of the pot plus sawdust and cow dung, they will cover it with a shred or broken pot and they start to firing as previous time. So firing also is the same process with the sawdust and cow dung, and they take another 5 to 6 hours to fire it, and in the next 2 days after firing they will open the Saggar pot and you can see the product is turned to the black. But the places when they have air condition or air pass from there, they remain as a red, and the places there is a sawdust and cow dung it was there, they change it to black. This is some of the decoration pot they are making. Depend how much air they came, the color will be changed, and you cannot make it again similar pot again and again. Each of them they have a unique effect and unique form also. See, if it is the smoke is so much, they turn it to metallic black. If it is less, it is a gray color, that is not black or it is not red, and is a tones, different tones between the red to the black color remain on the surface of the pot. During the staying with the potters, we observed that there is some issue with all the process. They have different stage of the process, they have different problems. One the problems we observed that it is so much heavy smoke during the firing process came to their home, because the workshop and the home residence place is the same. So during the 4 to 5 hours when the smoke is happen, you cannot stay in their house because it's full of the smoke everywhere. So this is one problem and very unhealthy for specific for the child they are growing in this place. Another is that each times when they have a firing, the Saggar pot or the containers, they will broke, they have a crack, and after 2-3 times using they will crack, and potters has to remake again and again. They lost so much energy and they has to put so much energy and clay and material to make a container. And another big problem is process of firing. Always 1 or 2% they has to be close to fire and put the sawdust inside. So design intervention and design solution. All the pot they are made by them, they are flat floor, and in the bottom there is so much clay, and they made the pot heavier. So our solution is that during the training they can cut some clay from the exactly bottom side of the pot, so weight of the pot become lighter. Another is for the vessels or containers, Saggar containers. By adding a 30% of the crack or terracotta powder to the body, the crack of the Saggar container become reduced. And another solution is that adding a 12% stock to clay body, the Saggar vessels, improve the resistance to thermal shock, and the crack of the Saggar pot become reduced and reduced. Another solution is that instead of using a sawdust, LPG was found to be better options. The cost of the one single firing process, the sawdust cost is equal to the 2-cylinder gas they have. So if they can use the cylinder gas as a firing, the firing process become more clean. They can go to the little bit maybe more higher temperature, and the unhealthy method of the firing, it will be gone or little bit better. To avoid so much smoke in the house, our suggestion is that to make a kiln close. If there is a circular shape, we can make some dome shape on the circular shape of the existing kiln, and by adding some chimney on that, we will guide the smoke to outside of the residence place. We are in this stage, and we make some maquette, and we made some kiln. You can see them. We decide about to make a dome on that, and is a chimney attached with that. So from the gate we can load the product inside the kiln, and the extra heat and the smoke will be gone from the chimney. We use these sources for this presentation, and thank you for listening, and thank you for your times. Any suggestion, any question, you can mail it us. Have a nice time.